Long time no see.
Well, I'm sure you now know that team leader Babajide Kolade Otitoju is not in town, but he would join us via Zoom. The show commences right away. Let's go there. All right, let's go. You know, death, it should be stressed, is not the opposite of life. It is the transition that is troublesome. And when a veteran colleague passes, we are disconsolate. An award-winning public relations practitioner and former Secretary General of the African Public Relations Association, APRA, Malam Kabir Dangogo, has died in Kaduna. He was 76 years old. The late PR giant passed on Friday. He had stints in both print and electronic media. He was, to say the least, an institution and would be sorely missed. The journalist Hangout crew joins family and friends in mourning him. May he find eternal rest, Dotun.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't meet him.
Okay.
One-on-one.
I did.
Okay. You are lucky. Because when I heard about his death, I've read about him, and we've published a few things from him and all the rest. But when I heard about his death, I was looking forward to gauging the public opinion and perception of him.
Yeah.
And what I got was quite impressive. Apart from the fact that I now had to go through his very rich CV.
Yeah.
I also knew that on personal levels, he impacted on a lot of people.
Yeah, Dotun, like a rolling stone, as we always say.
Yeah.
He gathered a lot of polish.
Yeah.
He was with the NTA, the Electron Imkidia, and I met him when he was the PR manager at the Union Bank.
Yes, in fact,
So,
from what we read, it was the brain behind the Association of PR people in the banks, which is known as Association of Corporate Communications and Marketing Professionals in banks. I didn't know he was the founder. I didn't until when he died. You know, so when people of ideas, when they are in a society and they pass, you get to hear a lot of things about them, and they don't make too much noise. They are not noisemakers. They walk calmly and achieve their results. And he left behind good memories.
Yeah. I know that Wale would know that it was for people like Kabir that Longfellow, Wordsworth, said lives of great men remind us that we can make our lives sublime and on departing leave footprints on the sands of time.
Well, I think he has left a legacy that people in the media will remember for a very long time. He lived a life of righteousness, a life of transparency, driven by truth and honesty, and dedication to work. It was at the New Nigerian newspapers. I know a lot of people not even remember that we had a very influential newspaper, New Nigerian newspaper. And then he worked with the NTA, So before going to the banking sector, so while in the print media and electronic media, he was able to combine print and electronic media, which is rare.
Two sides of the same world.
Of the same coin. Now going to the banking sector. And public relations, public communication is very important for corporate organizations. It to a large extent determines the public perception, of such corporate organizations. He worked with the Union Bank and also with Bank of the North. And I think while he was there, his legacy flourished. So we are remembering him today because of the good work he did. Everywhere that he touched, he was able to leave a milestone. So we stand with the family at this moment of grief, and we pray that may God give them the strength to shoulder the pain of the loss.
Otherwise, the family and friends are not standing alone.
With them.
To live in the minds of people who loved you is not to die.
It's not to die. That's a good thing.
So to the Kabir Dangogo family, we say, take heart. May he find eternal rest, as I said earlier on. Okay, to our next story. You know, uniformed armed operatives of the Nigerian Air Force, NAF, stormed the head office of the Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company, IKEDC, on Thursday, March the 6th, in a fit of rage. Now, the Air Force High Command has waded into the ludicrous and humiliating action. The Air Officer commanding AOC Logistics Command, Air Vice Marshal Adeniran Ademoagun, has vowed to investigate the immoderate behavior and bring those responsible to justice. The Air Force deeply regrets the fiasco, even as he gave his word that such intemperance would never happen again.
Well,
we've been there before.
Yeah, I
So
think
many times.
we have to look at the many sides of this issue and then draw out certain conclusions.
Okay.
If you look at the fact that energy is key to economy and security, so Ikeja Electricity Company is performing a strategic role in the economic and security life of Nigerians. So it's performing an essential service. And I think that the same thing also applies to the people in the armed forces. So in a way, there is a link between the two of them. The roles that they perform, you know, each of them are very critical in terms of sustainable development in the country. And I think that we cannot run away from complaints about arbitrary attitude of people in the armed forces. In the same way, there are also Nigerians who complain about arbitrary attitude of certain corporate organizations.
Okay.
You know, of people, you know, extortion, of corporate humiliation, you know, of people who are being tortured. You know, maybe you don't have light, they just come to your house and remove the, you know, cut away the fire. You know, you pay to buy transformer. At the end of the day, the transformer, you know, turns out not to be your property, you know. So a lot of things have been happening that people are angry. However, for me, I'm a victim, you know. They came and removed my meter and said the thing got burnt. After
No. The man watching is wondering if indeed the meter got burnt.
Yes.
It did.
Yeah, it got burnt.
Doctor, I hope you are listening.
Yes.
I am.
So,
I'm
but
following.
you know, they removed the meter and then took it away and said they were going to bring another one. Me that I used to spend about 30,000 naira. The first month, they brought a bill of 245,000. I had eyebrow prayer. And I recall my friend who had
estimated billing.
Yes, who had
estimated.
surge in his house, and the house got burnt. After the house got burnt for 3 months, they were still bringing light. The man developed hypertension.
Yeah.
A few months later, he died. He's my very good friend. So some of these problems are there. However,
Man-made.
However, we must also realize that those companies also have their own challenges.
Okay.
They need to meet up with payment of their workers. They need to meet up working in a very hostile environment. They need to meet up in a way where, in an environment where people don't want to pay their bills. So whatever might have happened, there is no justification on earth for any organization, any individual to resort to illegitimate or constitutional means of
seeking redress.
Because if we all do that, that ends up with anarchy. When this thing happened to me, I went to their office in Alausa, and the man there, Okote, you know, he said, "Don't worry, we are going to look at this issue, and just becoming, we'll be talking to you and see what we are going to do." Oh yes. So, and I think that should be our attitude. I realize that the Air Force performs, you know, they claim they keep rockets, bombs, and there is implication for national security. I agree with them. But is that the only way we can explore to resolve this issue? Yeah. I've thought about this, and I think the Air Force should have done one thing. Go to the court. In one day, you can get a parte motion.
Yeah.
That means you don't need to hear from the other side. And then enforce, you know, the court can give order to Ikeja Electricity that, look, go and restore, you know, the light so that you can continue to perform your function. But to now carry arms, go into these premises, begin to attack people, pregnant women, old women, workers,
journalists.
You know, the journalists, brutalizing them. This is quite unfortunate. It is barbaric. And I think it goes beyond the Air Force setting up because the Air Force cannot be a judge in its own case. There is a need for independent inquiry. They need to pay compensation to Ikeja electricity. The people that were attacked, the journalists that were attacked, there must be compensation paid to them. And I think the only thing that we should do to expect is independent inquiry, not just the Air Force alone. Others should be involved, NEC, Ikeja electricity, civil society, NBA, so that we can take a broader look about the whole issue.
Doctor, at a time like this, there's a delicate balance between what took place and the fact that IKEDC was being owed. You know, I don't know if you are reconciling.
No. It's just
the two sides.
It's the basic truth. Government is saying to us that it wants to stop subsidizing power.
Yeah.
Because even now it says it needs about 4 trillion to give to the distribution companies, pay those who are supplying this and that to bridge the gap, like what was happening.
Does this not, sorry, if I might drop this here, UCH Ibadan had a similar problem.
Yes.
You know, and for a critical institution like that.
Yes, critical, but at the same time, you shouldn't be owing.
Okay.
When Abuja Electricity Distribution Company put out an advert to say Aso Rock is owing, this is owing, this is owing, the president said, go and pay.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Because you have provision for these things in your budget. Even if you don't get it in full, there is something. Yes, there was an agreement with the Air Force to pay. After a while, the regularity of power dropped. It's everywhere. I'm on band A. I can tell you that in the last 1 week, we have hardly had light.
Yeah.
Do we all get up and go to IKEDC office?
Same here.
And beat them up?
Go and beat them up.
Do I know their office?
So when you are at that point, you must know that might can't be right. If I work in IKEDC and my boss calls me today that I should go into that place to go and fix whatever fault they have there and restore power, I won't go.
Okay.
Because they can get mad again and decide to attack those who have gone.
There could be hostility, yeah.
These guys appear to be uncontrollable. And what they did on Monday was pre-planned. I woke up in the morning and I saw a news report taking some kind of positioning. So when it happened, I expected it. Because somebody from that base spoke in that report and gave an inkling that something was coming.
Okay.
So it was pre-planned. And you can't, in that number, invade an office like that and tell me senior officers in that place didn't know.
I'm not aware.
Yeah.
They are aware. So who authorized it? And like you said, some people must pay for this.
Okay.
The way the Air Force goes about it will tell us whether they are serious or not about punishing these people.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me you are setting up an internal probe and then you just allow them to work. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be. Otherwise, we are going to go back to the era where they attack people at will. We recollect that even as a billionaire, they did it to Abiola.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
I remember, yeah.
No matter the situation, these bloody civilians, will pay your salary. We pay.
And by extension, we are your employer.
We are your employers. Yeah. So you must respect us.
Yeah.
And that is key. But also, to IKEDC Electric, they must learn how to deal with customers.
Yeah.
We are still paying them for this service they are rendering.
Yeah. Does any part of you tell you Nigerians don't like to pay bills?
Oh. Nigerians don't like to pay bills. And it's not a lot just in Nigeria.
Please listen. Yeah.
Yes,
why is it that people invented the idea of prepaid meter? Because it shows that all over the world, people want to cut corners.
Yeah.
And that is why the best way you can do it is to say, okay, we give you prepaid meter. So that you can pay as you
You supply yourself the light.
Supply yourself, just like the phone that we are using.
Yeah.
So the issue now is to make it to be efficient, to make sure that more people have access to, to prepaid meter. And also they talk about bypass. They also made that allegation. But we also discovered that the providers also need to train their workers. Because hardly can you have a bypass without collaboration of internal people working with those companies. So I think that, people don't want to pay.
It's just like when people bridge oil pipelines.
Because
you cannot do it as an outsider.
If we all refuse to pay our bills, how did you want IKEDC electricity company to survive?
And for that
so at the end of the day, so people, you can't be owing about billions and then you don't want to pay. Then army is doing the same thing, police is doing the same thing. Then what example are you setting up for the public? If the government is not paying,
the uniform,
it's a very bad example. Very bad example.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that it's not just setting up, an inquiry about what has happened. The government must take a broader look about energy provision.
But like, as Dr. said, don't you trust what the AOC, NAF commander is saying? Vice
will the IKEDC electricity be invited to be part of that team? Will NEC be there? Will NBA be there? This is an internal probe, and it can never be.
Our business is to give context to these stories.
No, what
so we are setting agenda.
What they are doing is okay, but it is not enough. My own group, we are presenting letter to the National Assembly and to the President. They must set up an independent inquiry. Therefore, let them be doing their own. But IKEDC electricity must be there. This coast must be there. NBA must be there. Those that were tagged. Those workers in that company must also be invited to come and state their own
journalists
case. Journalists must be there. Those who are brutalized, so that we have a broader understanding. Because at the end of the day, we need to go beyond the attack itself. Can we have a mechanism where in future, institutions like Army, Air Force can begin to provide their own electricity, like it is done in other countries? So it's a broader thing. It's not just about the attack alone. We must ensure this thing does not happen again. Because if they go, if they escape, police will do the same thing. Maybe the next time it will be OPC.
Doctor, in taking this home, therefore, because the time is tight, an energy crisis at this point is a no-no.
No, it is a no-no. But then, let me also speak on the fact that Nigerians love to pay bills where we get the services. Let me use a quick example.
Not necessarily countering what he said.
No, I'm not countering it. I'm only saying that when we see the services, we pay. Because I'm getting value for my money. For instance, some people leave this country and they go abroad for their holiday. And at the end of the day, they pay in thousands for that holiday.
All right.
Where here in Nigeria, we have some outfits that claim to be tourist centers. Those who pay millions to go abroad won't go there. Though they are cheaper. Because what do you get from there? I just came from Elegushi Beach now. They said they have privatized. And you can't see what they are collecting money for.
All right.
So we must, IKEDC must learn, and other discos too, must learn to give us value
for money.
When they give us value for money, then they can justifiably come in and request for payment. In fact, they won't a lot of times.
Otherwise, the statement you made earlier is relevant here. Provide the services, Nigeria would pay. Nigerians would pay. Okay, folks, we are done with that. Let's go to our next story. Sociologists the world over find it difficult to rationalize the actions of some members of the society. When a supposed pastor is alleged to be linked to the murder of a graduate of the Lagos State University, LASU, one is aghast and short of words. A certain pastor, Wepotoji, I hope I got that right, Wepotoji Sunday Babaniye, a Lagos-based shepherd, along with Sheriff Adebayo and Omolara Ajisomo, have been arrested in connection with the murder of Adedamola Ogunbode, the graduate. Now, Lagos Police Command spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin has let it be known that 2 other suspects escaped, but police are on their trail. It is sordid that the case began as that of a missing person, but ended up being a murder case, allegedly by the said pastor. Dr.
Well, we are
crazy times we live in.
We are still waiting for a conclusion to be reached, because now a body has not been seen.
Okay.
Contrary to what people were saying initially, that the remains were buried inside the church, that has been found to be a no-no. Thank God the church leadership has said it is submitting
Itself
to the police probe. No comment, no nothing. We want these to be properly trashed out.
and be seen to be properly.
Yes. And that's why I like that conclusion. Because in the last 1 year, the number of ritual killings, murder and others traced to clerics.
Supposed ritual killings.
No, it is. It was the old ones have been established.
Okay.
Traced to clerics of all religions, whether it is the traditional Muslim or Christian religion. We've had a lot in the last 1 year. And it is becoming worrisome. Men who claim to belong to God, which is why we call them men of God.
Men of the cassock.
Now, see what they are turning to. You recollect the one that happened in El-Rufai not too long ago.
Okay, yeah.
The man said he never saw her. All of this, all of that. Thank God in these two cases, the one in El-Rufai and the one in Lagos, these guys, or the lady and the guy, actually left traces of where they were.
Okay.
Otherwise, if it was those people who like we Yorubas, we say kolokondi, who is not traceable.
Yeah.
They would just have gone and would have been gone
for good.
For good. And nobody would have been able to trace them. Look at the one in El-Rufai. What did he do? You invited a lady, you killed her, you removed some parts, took it to a battle to sell, and then you said you never saw her. That is why ordinarily people would have said, okay, this man only passed, that's the student now, only passed in front of your church. And they had him talking, I'm in front of this church and all the rest. But with the things happening in the country, clerics being involved in killings, more had to be done. And the things they started saying, allegedly, the man transferred money.
Look at your screen. Look at the picture.
The man just graduated and is working inside LASSO itself.
Yeah.
Doing well for himself. A young graduate. Now, there is a claim that there was one transfer of about 1.5 million into the shepherd's account. What business did they do? Another said, apart from the 1.5 million, another 100,000 naira was transferred. I recollect vividly.
Was that supposed to raise flags?
Yes, it's supposed to. What business did they do? They must find out. In this Lagos, about 2-3 years ago, there was the case of a lady who was said to be looking for a child, who left her home and told only one person, I'm heading to this pastor's place for video. The following day, they started calling her. The number was switched off. Thank God for that one person she told. The person went and said, we are looking for this person. The man denied
Denied knowledge and everything.
ever seeing the lady. And then they took the case to the police. By the time the police came, they saw that this man had dismembered this lady and buried the parts that he didn't need inside his own house.
Okay. But let me sound Wale out. Wale, sociologists still are wondering why man would do certain things he's said to do.
Well, the human mind is desperately wicked. And no one can predict
Underline
it.
desperately.
Desperately wicked. And the human mind is also very fragile.
Okay.
And that is why people can be easily
the mind is also impressionable.
Yes. Because people commit all sorts of crimes under the guise of being pastors, being imams, because they know by the time they put on that spiritual garb, it's very easy to hypnotize people. And in a country where people have a lot of problems, that if you see anybody going on the street and just stop him and say, look, there's a battle you are facing, I have the solution.
Yeah.
Who hasn't got a battle? Even among 3 of us here. So they exploit the social, cultural environment, you know, to exploit, kill, and maim people.
Yeah.
And that is why we need to be very conscious about how we train our children, and in fact, even how we train ourselves. Because adults are also victims, parents are also victims, you know. So we need to be very aware.
Sorry, if I bring this here, I just hope, Dr. you find a link here. My colleague, Frank Olize, before he used to start his Sunday program, he would start like this. Do you know where your daughter is? People
at
would
9
laugh.
p.m. At 9 p.m.
Do you know
If
that
he puts it
over
at
40
9
years,
p.m.
over 40 years after, that question is still relevant?
Yeah, it's still relevant today. You know, because a lot of evil... This fellow is a graduate of political science education.
Okay.
There are a lot of unknown people that are missing, kidnapped by neighbors, by street people. So we need to be very cautious about our personal security and the security of our homestead.
Yeah.
What is happening is terrible. A lot of people, you know, when you want to become a pastor, I can just wake up today and say I'm a pastor. Nobody questions you. There is no place you have to go and get a certificate.
No, Wale,
so anybody can parade himself.
Doctor, if Wale wakes up tomorrow and says he's been called, you go quarrel.
He looks like somebody who has been already.
So we need to be very, very careful. You know, when you go to the internet and read all sorts of things that happen, somebody will just put there and say, look, if you miss this and all that, your blood pressure will disappear in 3 days. You see people start testing messages. I want it. Where are you located? Nobody wants to care about the person that is giving you this information. Which kind of person is he? Or he will tell you, I've just opened a shop. You know, if you can just text me a message, you will become a millionaire. And you see hundreds of people telling them, okay, I want to be a millionaire. They are falling in so easily. So our society is a very gullible society. And I think people need to be very watchful of their children. They need to be very careful. You must be aware of where your children are going at every point in time, where they are, and need to monitor them and ensure their safety.
Let me tease Dotun, you know, in a country where Boko Haram is running riot, you know, and where people are killed just for the sake of killing, you wonder if it is true that the human body parts can produce money.
Well,
if you understand where I'm coming from.
So many people still believe in that rubbish.
Okay.
And I wonder where that theory came from. That if you mix this with this, it will become money.
I remember in my primary school days, in this Lagos, in my primary school days, Bomo, that the kidnappers started like a child's play.
Yes. And then
today, kidnapping has become big business.
It's business now. Real business. You see,
talk less of ritual killing.
You see bodies on the road with parts missing. You know, we are still waiting for the outcome of that BRT incident. You know,
the lady.
The lady. You know, they said some parts were missing. We don't have the full gist.
I hear the case is listed for May or so.
Yes, the judgment. Like some will say, there is no substitute for hard work.
No substitute.
Not even prayer.
Yeah.
Prayer is not a substitute for hard work. Some will say the only place where prayer comes before work is in the dictionary.
Yeah.
It's not even in the Bible, because the Bible says pray and walk.
Yeah.
I mean,
walk and pray.
It says pray, walk and pray, not pray and walk. Meaning that even God has order.
Yeah. There's order in heaven.
Yes. There is a song in Yoruba language that says,
Pass me not.
Pass me not, oh my Savior.
Gentle Savior, yeah.
It's not a song you sing while kneeling down. Yeah. It's a song of action. And if people decide that they don't want to walk, and they have to go through this, which I believe is even a more dangerous and more tasking route of killing people.
Essentially,
to get
in
money.
the 21st century, where knowledge economy
Yeah,
you can hardly hide things like that.
It beats me that people still want to say they are doing money ritual. It beats me. People need to know that these things don't work. They don't work.
Take the first 10 billionaires in Africa. How many of them can you trace to ritual killing?
Ritual killing.
Okay.
It's an illusion.
Yeah.
It's just superstition. That until you cut human body, then you now turn to money. You know? It's just
those who are vast in these things, the likes of Professor Wandi Abimbola, it's a step about Onirubu and all. They've said it. There is nothing like money.
There's no link.
No link with money at all.
Otherwise, Mansa Musa, who is stated to be the richest man in history, would have killed many people.
Sure. So many people that do the concoction for them, how many of them are billionaires? If they are billionaires, would they have the time to be using human rituals? That means that those ones are also wretched of the heart, who claim they want to make other people to be rich.
And if you want to give me something, I need to first see if you have it.
Yeah.
You can't promise me what you don't have. Then if I believe it, means I'm stupid. What you don't have, you can't promise me.
So it's a belief system. It's warped here.
Yes, that is very wrong. And for me, I'm waiting. The police can do a good job
when they want to.
I agree with you on that.
The police can.
The police should do a good job.
Yeah.
Because if, in the end, there is nobody, that is, you don't find the remains of this guy, it's going to be difficult to tie anything to this man.
And
we want a closure.
Of course, Wale is wondering, as I am wondering too, how did we get here?
It's a big question.
But Walishina by road.
It's a whole
we got here by road.
History of decline in morality, decline in the sociology of life. You know, and I think I trace this.
Makes you wonder, where did we drop the ball?
I think I actually trace this to the years of misgovernance and then relating to the value of education that we are giving.
Okay.
You know, because when we were growing up in primary schools, the kind of books we used to read about those days, the folklores, the tales about moonlight, you know, you will be taught about fear, you know, for respect, dignity of the human person. Yeah. They will tell you, yes, they say, don't kill an insect because it was created by God. If you are not being asked not to kill an insect, you can't even think of killing a fellow human being. You know? So those things, right from primary school, you are cultured. You know, it was education with culture. But suddenly when the military came, they removed those, you know, those books. We couldn't find them any longer. And brought in another set of...
I don't want us to degenerate into a blame game here.
Yeah, but
so it's societal.
We can after all, we have democracy for 25 years now, so there's no excuse. We need to, you know, we need to go back and reclaim our destiny.
All right, folks, this is still Journalist Hangout, where we give context and clarity to issues that, you know, get thrown up by my country, your country. Our next story. You know, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, or NAFDAC, is up against a mountain of fakery and unwholesomeness. The agency that regulates the production, sale, and use of specified products hit the bull's eyes when on Saturday it destroyed counterfeit pharmaceutical and other products worth about 100 billion naira at Monia dump sites at Ibadan, Oyo State. Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, also announced the arrest of one Anthony Chidi in the Mile 3 area of Port Harcourt over the fake production of fake alcoholic beverages. The war is on, Wale.
Yeah, I think NAFDAC seems to be rebranding itself. Yeah. You know, from the era of
Dora.
Dora King.
Yeah.
That woman left a legacy that was not sustained for a very long time, to be very honest, until recently that we are seeing a lot of improvement.
Let's say the current DG is also fitting the bill.
We are impressed by what she has been doing, at least in recent memory, because we are talking about life. You know, people cannot say they want to survive and then begin to feed on our mystery and to feed on our deaths, on our to make life uncomfortable for majority of Nigerians.
Yeah.
That is exactly what they are doing. You know, medicine is about health, it's about human life, it's about the future of our children, it's about the future of pregnant women, the future of men and women. So some people cannot just sit down somewhere and say because they want to make money, then they begin to manufacture fake drugs, you know, tramadol,
and call it business.
Business. There's no justification for that. So it's like passing death sentence on the mass of Nigerian people
who are already dying.
Who are already dying, you know, who are facing a lot of challenges. And you see, the implication is that most times when you begin to use fake drugs, you know, you develop, immunity to this, resistance.
Remember the late Professor Akuili said she went into pharmacy because the sister died after she got ingested with a fake insulin.
Yeah.
You know.
So these are inhuman people, very vicious, wicked human beings that just think that they can suck the blood of fellow human beings in order for them to survive. So I think I'm impressed by what the DG is doing, and we just pray that it keeps it up. It's a very risky job, but we continue to pray for him. And then we're also happy because she said that the National Security Advisor is giving them a lot of support.
A lot of.
So I'm not surprised. You know, Malam Nur Badu has been doing excellently well. So we hope he continues to give that support in everywhere necessary.
Dotun, Dora came into national consciousness in the Obasanjo years, if you remember.
Yeah.
So you are looking. She came toe-to-toe with fake drug barons. And so you are asking, is it the baron teaches the survivor, the dependent or whoever, or trains other fake producers?
It's a business.
What do you call such a business?
It's a business as far as they are concerned. So they will always have apprentices. They will always have those who provide security for them. And all the rest.
Remember when we had the notorious Mporumiri saga?
Yes, it's still there. It might have reduced, but it's still there. You can't run away from it, yes. You can't run away from that. I also commend NAFDAC. But this is not a battle that can be won overnight, or that NAFDAC alone can win.
Yeah.
That is why the cooperation with the military and other security agencies through the National Office of the National Security Advisor is commendable.
Yeah. Because,
like the NAFDAC DG, Professor Mojisola DA said, is a chain. These things, how do they even get into Nigeria? It passes through our borders, it comes through our ports, it comes by air.
And we treated this issue a while back on this platform. You know, there used to be, only I'm sure you remember, pre-shipment inspection.
Even at that. In the last 1 year, let's use the NDLA as an example.
Okay.
Go and check how many, the tons, loads of illicit drugs that they have seized at our ports or gone into warehouses to pick up. So there is something that is wrong. Even when you check, how do people who bring illicit drugs into Nigeria by air, they travel, how do they pass through the borders of other countries in here? Even passing through countries like Canada, like the US, like how do they get in here before they are caught? So it's a big, big problem. Or how do those who even leave this country, though that has reduced drastically with drugs, arrive in other countries where they are caught? So NAFDAC needs support. The same thing with the NDLEA. Needs support. They must get it all round. There are bad eggs everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't have 12 disciples without a Judas.
Yeah. But that Judas must not be allowed to destroy the remaining 11.
That is why, for those of us who have been following the trends, like he said, some people have died because of fake drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Of recent, we saw a whole building, 6 flats, filled with expired drugs, and they were relabeling.
And they're selling.
Relabeling for sale, bringing the thing up to date. One of this, my own suggestion is we need to go back and look at our laws. In some cases,
Doctor, the problem is not a lack of laws.
No. It is also, sir. It is also. Because sometimes you get to a point where
I thought it would have been more of giving teeth for more bite for our laws.
No. I'll just tell you the part I'm talking about now.
Okay.
A man does something that is wrong, as maybe bringing in illicit drugs into Nigeria or fake medicines. And then you say, I want to jail you for 10 years or pay a fine of 3 million in lieu. What happened with the NDLA last week? The man was coming into the country with huge consignment of illicit drugs. He was caught in 2018 or 2019. He was taken to court. The following year, the judge said, I'm jailing you for 10 years or you pay 3 million naira fine. Sir, that man was caught again last week. How do you define that? Now with more...
If you ask me now Wale,
because, because when the man who has billions sitting in his account is fined 3 million naira, how do you define that? People who bring debt to us, you take them to court and the lawyer is able to see a gap, a lacuna in the case. And then the judge now says, go and pay 10 million naira. Somebody who has billions in his account.
Well, I defer to his logical, you know. Can we reconcile that with the fact that the fellow caught at Port Harcourt in the Mile 3 area for producing unwholesome beverages? Now,
you don't call it beverages so that Nigerians can understand beer, gin, and all the rest. Let's define it so that people will know. Even Coke, they produce fake ones now.
Okay, so you are looking at something that can kill a generation.
Thousands of people.
Run a knife to it.
Thousands of people. Millions.
And somebody will call this business, as Dr. told me.
That's what they do.
What business is this? Maybe I'm not the one seeing.
It's a business that is driven by the ambition of genocide.
Greed and...
because if you want to kill mass of Nigerians, just because you want to make profit, then such a person deserves, if you like, the maximum punishment. Because you don't care, who lives. All you just care about your own life.
Yeah.
You don't even care about your own children, because your children will go out when they leave your house, and sometimes they might even end up buying those fake products. So it means that humanity means nothing to you.
Except money.
So we need to ensure, and so it destroyed the image of Nigeria. So we cannot compete in the international market. Anything you produce here, when you take it to Ghana, people will say, oh, Nigerian products. And that's why it's very difficult for most of our products to even get to the Western world.
Yeah.
So it will stunt our ability to compete internationally.
So are you able to link this to what President Trump is doing currently with the tariffs?
I don't think the tariffs, is placing on Canada is because of fake products. I think it's trade competition. It seems to want to protect the interests of his own businessmen more than...
All right. We have a company here. Gbenga is reaching us from Abuja. Gbenga, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, my uncle.
Let's go.
My name is Gbenga from Abuja.
I greet you. Yeah, welcome.
Greeting to your colleagues there.
Yeah, we greet you.
What NAFDAC is doing these days is really what every Nigerian should support to get rid of these terrorists who are coming in the aspect of fake drug, fake alcohol, and the rest of it. If you look at what has happened so far in the raid in Lagos and Onitsha and the rest, you will see that millions of naira that have died, millions of Nigerians that have died, they did not die because there was no cure or help for them to get them well. It is because the drug they took, some of them are fake or expired drug that really kill them.
Yeah.
And you can now see, compared to the terrorists, these people are killing innocent Nigeria who use their money to buy this thing on the counter. And that speaks volume that many of the drugs on our counter today are not regulated. So there should be a body to regulate, going from the seller. They call them chemists. Some of them have shops, some of them carry it on their head. You go to park, you see people selling drugs, carrying on a tray, carrying on here. All these things should be regulated.
Thank you, Benga. We got you first time. Thank you very kindly. Yeah.
It's right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go to the doctor and these days, the doctor tells you.
He used the word terrorist.
Yes.
And he won't be far from home.
They kill more than the terrorists. That's the truth. Look at the one we just said. A 6-flat structure.
Yeah.
With cartons of expired drugs, back to back, in all spaces you can find in the house. Look at the thousands of Nigerians who will take that.
At that point, there seems to be, there's another angle to it. Regulators should go do some more work.
Yeah. Not just even NAFDAC, Standard Organization of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I also
Standards Organization.
Yes. I also want to say that, you see, NAFDAC cannot do this job alone, just like my colleague has said. NAFDAC has probably about 1,000 workers. State governments must also have a mechanism of working on detecting producers of fake drugs. It should not just be left for NAFDAC. If 30 states in the country, they have institutions, I don't know whether Ministry of Environment or whatever, they should also have, they should not just be waiting for NAFDAC to go to places where there are fake drugs. They must also be involved in one way or the other.
While we're still on NAFDAC, the DG of NAFDAC, Professor Christiana Mojisola Adeyeye, has proposed the death penalty for this offense. Are you in sync with her?
Well, if the offense you have committed is murder, then it equals the same weight. If people are also thinking that, look, if you think you can kill about 2,000 people, why do you have to live? Why do you need to live? So I think it's something that should also be engaged in this conversation. Though I know that a system with a very weak legal system, with very weak judiciary, mere passing of death sentence is just on paper. We need to do more than just thinking about.
And you're talking about death sentence. The Constitution does not empower Mr. President to sign death sentence. Governors have the responsibility of doing. But they can help.
Most times it's not in their political interest to so do, because don't forget. All right,
just a minute. we have company again.
Okay.
Olayinka is reaching us from Maryland, not in Lagos here, but in the US of A.
Okay.
Yinka, are you there? Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, and it's morning here in Maryland.
Okay, it's morning there. Good morning there, but good afternoon here. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, and my two other brothers.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
I've been listening to this topic today, the past topic and this present one. I think Mr. Oladapo has hit the nail on the head. Even all over the world, the country that we are seeing excelling all over the world, they have a very strong law in place. There is no way Nigeria can continue in this approach without revisiting our law. If somebody produce fake drug, put him on the chair, start feeding him that drugs, let him see how it affects others.
Yeah.
Others will learn from it. If somebody produce fake beverages, sit him down on chair, let him start drinking it and see the effects of his produce on himself. Maybe others will learn from it. Revisiting our law. If somebody kills somebody in terms of ritualism, let us revisit our law. Kill them immediately. It's going to be a lesson for others that are doing this practice.
Yeah.
This topic that you are discussing now, I've been hearing about this topic for a very long time. And in another 10 or 20 years, we will continue to discuss this thing and nothing will change. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Many thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, too.
So, like we're saying, governors are unwilling a lot of times because those people that they are going to sign their death sentence, they also have people who are speaking on their behalf and who have some form of political influence. So you see where the governors have their dilemma. Some don't even want to sign, not because of political interest. They don't even want to sign off on you killing anybody.
Because I heard some governors claim they don't need blood on their hands.
Yes, some do.
Whatever that means.
Whatever it means. But I think also that as a country, we must also realize that when the bulk of the medications that we consume come from outside the country, it becomes more expensive and then it becomes not so available.
Yeah.
There was a time we were producing a lot of our pharmaceuticals here. We need to return. If we do it, and these drugs are supplied directly to the hospitals, we know we'll still have those Judas in the hospitals who will be selling the original or swapping it with the fake ones. But we'll be better off.
Dotun, you people are attracting the viewer. Olani is here in Lagos. He wants to reach us. Ni, I greet you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
I really appreciate what you are doing. I hope our lawmakers are watching this kind of a program.
They watch.
And I don't know what they are doing. They are supposed to declare a state of emergency concerning law to make law that will even motivate the NAFDAC in order to put these people to book. Even if they need to review the law instead of fighting for seat or no seat in the National Assembly. This is very, very important. Those people who are involved in death drugs, they should be sentenced to death immediately because a lot of people have been killed. They are only few ones than terrorists. Please, they should, if your analysis suggests that people, the National Assembly should wake up in order to motivate the NAFDAC and the NDLA. That's my contribution.
Thank you. Wale and Dotun, you both remember that a Nigerian ran foul of the law in Malaysia. He was 13 years old at the time. But because in Malaysia, it's a death sentence, no plea of any. They kept him until he was 18. And then he was eventually, that's where the law.
Yeah, the law should be the law. The law should be
the law. Is the law.
But like I said, we need to go back and look at those laws. A law that will say to you that somebody brings in hard drugs into your country, and then you are giving that person, no matter the volume, no matter the quantity, a slap on the wrist by giving an option of fine of 3 million.
Yeah.
What you have done is to just encourage the person. So the next time you come and you do it, we'll give you 3 million, go and pay, and you can return to your business.
All right, but the journalist hangout train can say we stand with Professor Adeyeye.
Yes.
She's telling you and I, gentlemen, you ain't seen nothing yet. I wish her Godspeed.
Yes,
in the U.S., 27 states still practice death sentence. 27 states.
Okay. All right, so we'll go on a break now. Please stay. This is still Journalist Hangout on a Sunday afternoon.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
15 years ago, we were created with a mission and vision to light up Africa. Now it's 15 years of shining bright in the glory of our amazing might. JRB Solar has made darkness take flight to keep shining in the splendor of our light. From the serene street of Abuja to the bustling street of Lagos, a light shining from Ibagwaka to Lapai and Calabar to Aba, and to all angles of Africa. We are the definition of innovation and dedication for the nation, defying the ugly odds to create a world full of laughter, love, and light. JRB Solar, the Ogbefio Garaya one of solar energy. Onye Jinjin, Oba Imole, the Agabaidu one. You know, people doubted you when you were born. They said renewable energy may not thrive, but you survived and strived with every fiber of your being to redefine success. You made us know that true success is allowing our little light to shine in dark places. Happy 15th anniversary, JRB Solar Investment Limited.
Okay, folks, welcome back. You're still watching Journalist Hangout, which is the biggest rendezvous for gentlemen of the Fourth Estate. Another story that comes up here is this one. For embattled leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, it is gratitude to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, for the reassignment of his case. You recall that during the February 10 appearance before Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court, the IPOB leader had openly lamented the non-recusal of the judge from his trial. In his expression of gratitude, Kanu openly acknowledged the receipt of 2 letters from the CJN herself and from Justice John Soho, conveying the transfer of his case to another judge. Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, who confirmed the development, insists his client is innocent and is therefore ready for his defense in court. Adewale.
Yeah. I think we all watched the February 10 proceedings. And
yeah.
that, it was a very heated environment. Kanu was visibly angry, and then we could see clearly that he was not comfortable with the judge. It's within his legal right to seek transfer of his case. But I think that
if he thinks the judge
is a likelihood
may be biased.
Yeah. But I think that this case, the first time he was arrested was, I think, in 2015.
Yeah.
And then he left the country, illegally, and then he was rearrested again in 2021.
Okay, when he was renditioned.
Yeah. So we are talking about, let's say, 4 years now that this case has been on. I think we should not take the risk of giving the impression that he's not going to get justice, because I was thinking the speedy. When we begin to delay the case for too long, people might begin to suspect that he will not get justice. So I actually would like to urge the government to conduct a speedy trial. Let him know his fate. Because when you are in detention, you are not sure whether you'll be sentenced to 15 years, you are not sure whether you'll be sentenced to 10 years. You can begin to suffer some health problems, which might lead to other complications. I hope nothing happens to him behind bars. So I think justice delayed may be suspected to be justice denied. Yeah. So with this new judge, I hope that they can speed up this case so that at least he can know his fate. Whatever offense he might have committed, let there be justice for him. Let there be speedy justice. We have been on this thing now for 4 years, and I think it has lingered beyond expectation. So I think the new judge should be very firm, according to the dictates law, and whether they want to get him bail, let us know. And if we actually want to adopt political settlement, which is also an option for us, because there is a political aspect to this trial. People are demanding for self-determination. They started with a peaceful protest. They claim many of them were killed. Then they resorted into armed confrontation with the state. So I think if the judiciary is seen to be too complex, then we can look for a political solution. Every dispute, we have to end up on the you know, on a peace table.
Okay.
You know.
Dr. And the situation is not helped in any way by the Simon Ekpa angle to it.
Well,
if you understand what I mean.
I think it's, both of them have been clearly defined now. Everybody now knows that Simon Ekpa is not working for IPOB. It's
but to have claimed,
he claimed to have
formed a government in exile.
IPOB has denounced him. Every right-thinking person denounced him. But he has a group of people, of persons working based on his instructions, still enforcing this sit-at-home.
And the suspicion here of it becoming a franchise.
Yeah, well, whichever way it goes, there is nobody who is going to feel comfortable that the group that was founded by Nnamdi Kanu is the same one that has produced, that has provided the springboard for EPA to operate. Nobody will feel comfortable with that, no matter the denial.
Okay.
It's still going to be there. People will still believe there is a link, because it's not as if IPOB says we don't know EPA, but they're saying EPA is no longer operating
on our behalf. He cannot talk, he cannot act on our behalf too.
So, yes.
But do many people believe him?
A lot of people will not. Not even the government that is skeptical. But seriously talking about Kanu getting this case reassigned.
Yeah. It's a
to me,
plus.
it has not changed anything.
Okay.
Because the first question to ask is, this delay, where has it come from? Is this from the judge? Is this from his prosecutor? Or is it from his own legal team? All of them are involved. When you have a case, and in between the one case, you are moving to higher courts to go and obtain certain judgments that will affect the case. That case will be on hold. It will be there. Whatever judgment you bring from the other side will affect this. So sometimes you see judges will say, we'll wait until when you return from the higher court. Let's wait. So each time we speak on this matter here, I'm always of the opinion that a political solution.
Sorry, we have company.
All right.
Adeyemi is reaching us from Abuja. Adeyemi, I greet you. Welcome. We lost connection to him.
I've always believed that a political solution is the answer. But when you go back in time now, you will see that all of those that some of us believed could do that magic, they are dying. Most of them are dying. The minister in the First Republic, Ajawa Chukwu, Chief Emmanuel Nwanyawo is gone. You know, look at them, they are going. So,
you meant Dr. Chief Mbazulike.
Mbazulike, thank you. That's the man. They are going. Can we quickly find a solution to this? Because if you leave it in the court, it's going to linger. It's going to linger. The more you try to do something about it, the more there are clogs in the wheel. Those who are supposed to bring him to court will say, he didn't get ready on time, he won't go. Or the judge will say, the clothes you wore is not good. I can't attend to your case. You know, a lot of things will keep coming up because it's a special case. It is something that has given Nigerians the nightmare.
Yes, sleepless nights.
Sleepless nights.
Sleepless days and nights.
Even till now, it's still happening in the Southeast. The governors are still looking for a way to stop this Monday sit-at-home. It's not been conquered in all states.
We must praise a particular governor, Peter Mba of Enugu State.
Enugu State. He has done well. But it's not as if he has resolved...
Ebonyi State.
It's not as if they have resolved
the outstanding issue.
Completely. They have not. It's still there. So we need...
Wale, but you remember that the embattled IPOB leader had said, release me, and the trouble in the southeast will vanish. You trust him?
Well, I think there is no doubt that he has command, on the IPOB members. At least, even if it's a formidable...
And they hold.
Yes. Even if it's a formidable faction of that organization.
Yeah.
I don't know
sorry, quickly. Adeyemi, we tried to get is now here.
Okay.
Brother Adeyemi, I greet you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Citizen John.
I greet you, sir. Let's go.
Afternoon, sir. My regards to the panel there.
They greet you.
Thank you so much.
I have to bring you back.
Okay, then.
It's about the issue of NAFDAC. My suggestion is this. I know you've left the topic,
okay, go on.
but I wanted to say this. Maybe the NAFDAC madam can do what late Akunle did by going to the source. Because what the woman did was to go back to some of where these drugs are coming and went to report some of these companies to their government.
Yeah.
So we can do that. So that will save a lot of, by coming here to seize them and destroy. It's like we are just addressing the matter at the surface. And then the suggestion by one of the gentlemen there that we need to bring back our pharmaceutical companies so that we know the source of these drugs, we can trace them. I think it's something that we need to do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Well, thank you too. Yeah, as we were saying.
It was on the floor.
Yeah.
So I think, and to be very honest with you, IPOB is a very popular organization in the Southeast. The demand, don't let us deceive ourselves, the demand for self-determination is a popular demand in the Southeast. And we are talking of 5.5, 6 states. So if people are buying into an idea, the federal government needs to negotiate. The country is, as we speak now, very fragile. We see what is going on in the Northwest. It's also a form of disillusionment with the structure of the Nigerian state. People saying that, oh, we want Sharia, and that kind of thing. The same thing in the Northwest and in the Northeast. So when you find yourself in a situation like this, there are 4 pillars that hold the country. We have the South, Southeast, the Northwest, the Northeast, the Southwest. So if 3 pillars are having, some challenges, then, even the Southwest that was saying is peaceful and all that, it's maybe not really. So I think the national question, the structure of this country, it is time for us to sit down and discuss. Let's put down the garment of ego and arrogance. Oh, Nigeria is indivisible. We don't want anybody to discuss about it. That does not fall in line with the principle of democracy. Even the structure of the U.S., people are still debating it every time.
Brings to mind
so
what...
a political solution is better.
Brings to mind what our first president, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, was reported to have exchanged with the late Sardauna of Sokoto. Dr. Azikiwe had said, let us forget our differences.
Yeah.
No, Sardauna said, no, let us understand
our
those differences.
Recognize and deal with them.
So bringing the thing up to date, regarding the IPOB issue, Nnamdi Kanu and all, there should be a common, a middle course to be steered.
Yeah.
I still believe that.
A political
yes, I believe
solution.
That. Yeah. I believe that. And the only way it can work is for this man to be handed over to somebody who has hold on him. Because you recollect that when he was granted bail, he fled.
Okay.
And the issue became...
Well, with the latest news is that he has expressed gratitude to the CJN and Justice Soho. Yeah. His case has been transferred to
another judge.
So we
That's a good
wish him
Godspeed.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to our next issue. There's no contesting the propriety, that's the correctness of holding a population census in our country. Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief Bola Tinubu has accentuated the conduct of the exercise, but insists on cost-cutting measures. At a meeting between the #1 citizen, and top officials of the National Population Commission, NPC, President Tinubu not only rejected a 942 billion naira budget by the Population Commission, but proposed the deployment of youth corps members for the job. A committee is to be set up by the president to align the census budget to the government's present financial realities, Dotun.
Well, it's a good one. When I had it,
Remember the last census we held in this country, 2006, close to 20 years ago?
I was very relieved when I had it.
Okay.
And the reason is this. If we were told some 2-3 years ago that the commission was set for the exercise, it had everything it needed.
Yeah.
It had trained personnel, done everything, had the computers it needed, locally, and all the rest. Then why do we need 1 trillion for this exercise? It's a big question, and I must commend the president for looking at it from that angle. A trillion naira is a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you are talking about the 942 billion is close to a trillion.
It's almost a trillion.
Yeah.
Because by the time they start now, they will request for a few more things.
Yeah.
They will request for a few more things. And that's not to even talk of the support that they are still going to get in terms of vehicles and some other things. So let's put it at a trillion.
But Wale, something is hanging there.
Yeah.
Prior to now, like our political life, nobody trusts anybody.
Yeah, in terms of the population?
Where he's saying 942 billion, Mr. President is saying no, let's look at that, reconcile that with government finances.
I think within the context of our available resources, and thank goodness the president is an accountant, chartered accountant. I don't think this country can afford such a huge amount at this moment. And I also believe it is possible to do the same thing, but with a different figure, lower figure.
Yeah.
Because population census is ad hoc. It's not a place where you go for a full-time job. Maybe just for some few months. So we need a lot of volunteers, that will be paid stipends, not just to rely on, the census project as a means of accumulation of wealth. So I believe we can cut down the cost.
Yeah.
I also believe we all agree that there's a need for census because it helps us to a great deal in planning. We've not had census for about 20 years now. We need to know how many children we have. We need to know how many people are out of school. Because for the past years, we have been coming with all sorts of conflicting figures. Some people will tell us we are 200 million. Some will say we are 220 million. So we need to be sure.
I've had 232.
230 million. Even the United Nations is not certain. They are just based on projection of 2.1 annual growth rate. So until you go to the field and count, people, then you can be sure.
Wale, I'm sure we all remember the Jonathan years when he was president. He had trouble with the chairman of the NPC then, Festus Odimegu, when he said, we are going to do the right thing, count people correctly. So who was wrong at that time?
Well, I think
was it
professionally, I think the NPC, Shama was right. But politically, maybe the president was right. Because I think the president was considering the political implication.
Two rights cannot make a wrong.
Yeah, but, so I believe, the NPC, the former NPC chairman was a professional person, a technocrat who was looking at the figures, while the president was looking at the politics. And I think that is why it is good for us now to have the census now, not in the year of election or a few months before the election. Okay. Because there will be a lot of political implications.
Too many things on the plate.
Yeah, So I think this is the right time to have this census now. And I believe we actually need it to help us in doing a lot of...
and deploying core members.
I think it works. INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, uses them during elections. And that is even more critical, though it's almost at the same level. because it then means you are accounting for so many things now. Demography, all of it. So you must have people you can trust, people you can use. And now that even these core members are getting a raise in their pay, they should serve us more in the country. And deploying a lot of them.
What do you say to a country that's not trusting of its institutions? There's
nothing we can do. It still doesn't mean those institutions won't function.
So a census is held now, a figure is returned, but the figure will be disputed.
It has always been happening. It will continue to happen. I'm not sure there's going to be any election we are going to have in this country that won't be disputed.
Okay.
And then up in the Supreme Court.
Population?
No, yes,
census.
I know. So it's still going to be the same with the population, because the population determines how you move in every sphere.
Wale, does Dotun reconcile the fact that in their United States of America, in their United Kingdom, and their United countries around the world, the day a child is born, the child is registered. The day somebody dies, it is -1. Is it too difficult to have that here?
It's one of the simplest that we ought to do.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we are not doing it. In so many rural communities, there are no medical centers. A lot of women still go to traditional people to deliver their, children where there are no records. So I think that if we have been doing that regularly, it will have been easier for us to even have the accurate protection.
Sorry, we're joined by Mr. Alakbe. Okay. I hope that's right. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
I greet you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Alaba Alakbe is my name.
Alaba, welcome.
From Ojo in Lagos.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Gawale, another gentleman there. I salute you. Sir,
thank you.
Let me quickly just go back to Nnamdi Kanu's matter. Some of us that we are not from Southeast, we have been begging, we have been pleading that in order for us to enjoy the peace in the entire Southeast, Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally. The man should be released. Even after the guy is offended, the little stay that he has stayed in the prison is enough. So federal government led by President Bola Tinubu should look into it and free this guy in unconditionally, because a lot of people in the Southeast are not enjoying themselves freely. Even those of us, I used to travel to the Southeast. They will be telling me that if you go there, please stay in your hotel or stay where they put you. You should not move around. Why? In Nigeria, if I cannot have freedom to move anywhere in Nigeria, where am I? So I want to appeal to President Bola Tinubu.
Alaba, we thank you. We thank you very kindly. Yeah.
That's our position too.
Yeah, that's
should be allowed to go.
Yeah. Fast forward to now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that
the child is born today.
Yeah.
His name or her name should be sent to the.
Even when you go to our hospitals where people have children, some of them don't have computers. They still do this manually. Go to these medical, even in urban areas.
Yeah.
So, and we should not be waiting for federal local government should be able to have records. Those that are born today, those that die today, but we are not doing that. The records are not being kept.
Yeah.
So if we do that, our population will be quite easy to project. As it is now, nobody is sure for anything. And just like my colleague has said, people will dispute that figure. But I think that we can reduce the process of disputation by making the process to be more transparent. And that means state government should also be involved. It's not just the federal government thing. The federal state government must be seen to see the mirror, to see the picture.
And local governments too.
And local governments, they must be involved. It's not just a federal government affair. It's our own affair.
Because local governments, they are charged with radio licenses, TV licenses, and stuff like this.
Oh, yes. So they need to show interest in, because since 1866 that we have been having census, there has always been. Of course, the British came out with very fraudulent census, especially the one in 1952. That Awolowo base is planning on it and discovered that it was fake. So census has always been a political instrument for political actors.
Deliberately.
Yes.
But I think we can make it to be more transparent for the interest of everyone, especially to ensure that it's more inclusive. Stakeholders are all part of the whole process.
And of course, the United Nations says every 10 years, every country must determine how many people live within there. Yeah. On a final note, we have Adeyemi. Adeyemi is reaching us from Abuja. Brother Adeyemi, let's make it snappy. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Citizen Jones.
Yeah.
Two areas. I think we need to borrow a leaf from Uganda. Hello, sir.
I'm listening.
Yes, I think we need to borrow a leaf from Uganda. I don't know why we are voting so much money like this in this era of electronics. Uganda conducted census based on digital economy in 2024, and it was accurate. And secondly, that is the short-term suggestion. The other one has to do with the structure of Nigeria. As long as we don't have fiscal devolution of power, people will be struggling to have census in order to have larger figure so that they can get money from the center. Let us try to adjust this nation such that we will be baking the cake from the subnational.
Okay.
As long as we are baking the cake from the center, everybody will want to be, and that's why they will be interested in census in order to boost the figure so that state or local government will get highest allocation.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah. So the last word on the census, it is, we are due for another census. And as you said, having it in an election year is not the best thing.
No, it's not. And then we don't need this kind of humongous amount if we keep records. It's a problem. There was a time in this country, every election year, INEC will do fresh registration. Now that has stopped. So if we can build on that, there was a time, each time you need to collect your driver's license, you must go physically to go and show up. Now we have overcome that. You can stay in the comfort of your home for renewal because the database
because the
is there.
The electronic
is working. You know,
the e-world has taken over.
That's taken over. If you are fined while driving in Lagos now, nobody chases you around. The camera caught you. When you are going for your renewal at the MOT point,
at the counter,
you are going to be told, see your paper. You know, we can get there easily.
Okay then. All right, we're done. Let's take on quickly on our next subject. You know, the 34th president of the United States of America, his name was Dwight Eisenhower. It was he who said, quote, "Politics ought to be the part-time profession of every citizen who would protect the rights and privileges of free men," end quote. But in our jurisdiction, where politics is a zero-sum enterprise, professional politicians are already dreaming of the next election and beyond. The People's Democratic Party, PDP Governors Forum, has flatly denied that its members were working for the ticket of the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, and the former Anambra State Governor, Peter Obi, for the 2027 presidential election. A statement credited to Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed declared that the PDP governors would support the candidate of the party when the time comes, Dotun. Are you with me?
I am. We shouldn't forget that all parties say so before election.
Yeah.
But you recollect that when Peter Obi was going to move into the Labour Party before the last election, he didn't do so 2 years, 3 years before. He did so before that election. Not too long to that election. So when people come up with statements like this, a lot of times, I see it as trying to cover up
you think
what is going to unravel.
You think this is setting, playing a dummy?
That's what I'm saying. That's the way I see it. Because when you see the movements around now and the permutations within the parties, especially PDP, there are those who have already given up on that party for the next election in terms of candidates. And it's been established over time.
Okay, you are trying to tell me Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is...
There is a lot of people know. You see, it's just what we've witnessed. The man has full control over that presidential ticket, except he doesn't want it.
No, but the party is the sole arbiter here.
The party is the arbiter, but you are going to go into primaries. And when the primaries come up, there is a magic that happens.
Dotun, I hope... I hope we are reading from the same book.
Yes.
By 2027, Wale, don't come in just yet. By 2027, we expect President Tinubu to express the desire to run.
Yes.
And the presidency should remain in the South.
What it means is this. The APC already has a flag bearer. Nothing changes it. Except the president refuses the first offer. If it doesn't, that is a done deal.
Okay, so the right of first refusal belongs to him.
It belongs to him. That is one. You now come, which is the next party? PDP. So, who is likely to emerge in PDP? Atiku Abubakar has indicated interest, even if he didn't say so straight. That party is one. What next? Labour Party. So, if they are already saying that, then it means that...
They meaning the PDP?
Yes. Then it means that there is... to use what happened between the prophet and his servant in the Bible, he said there was a small cloud like that of a knuckle. When you have small cloud, big rain can come. That has been proven with that passage of Bible. So we are seeing something, some movements in the political atmosphere now.
A kite is being flown.
That's the way I see it. We don't want this, means that we already see it happening, but we don't want it. That's what they are saying to us.
Wale, what are you saying from your own prism?
Well, I think there are two issues
involved here.
Involved here. 2027, and then the context of governance and power. I think I'm not referring to His Excellency Malam Nuru Nibadu, but I think there are some people in both parties, either PDP and that are just in politics for power, for the sake of power alone.
Okay.
These people are always very desperate to do anything in order to regain power.
So the quote credited to Dwight Eisenhower applies there.
Sure. Applies. You have politicians that are sneaky, cunning, power drunk, disruptive, and they always want to create crisis to use the wild wind as a negotiating ship. Even when the party they are working for, they have worked for over the years. Even if the party is doing well, but for the fact that they are not getting the right attention, they are ready to destabilize the party. That is what I think is going on in APC. Because as we speak now, I don't think the issue of 2027 should be the primary focus, or at least the ruling party. So if anybody in that ruling party is now talking about, people are talking about his emerging as, and that person is going from one place to the other, creating one crisis and making an allegation against all sorts of people. And even in your own state, there is a crisis. You can't even hold on to your, you have lost grip of your own root. Then there's a problem.
Are we reacting to the same story?
Yeah, I'm just trying to give a general picture.
Okay.
So I think, from my own opinion, you see, politicians say things they will deny and deny things they will later say. Just like he has said, there is no flame without fire. There is a group within the PDP or opposition or Labour Party that is already thinking that El-Rufai and Peter Obi ticket may be the game changer. So that reality is there.
Hold on.
And there are people that are opposed to it. So they might issue statements. But that does not annul the fact that that tendency is there.
Former Governor El-Rufai, whose face I'm seeing on the screen now, should be number one, Peter Obi number two. or the other way around?
That is the permutation.
Or
Yes,
the other way
the
around.
permutation.
That is not clear as of today.
That is the
but it's a
permutation.
possible realignment, because if you have somebody from El-Rufai from Kaduna and then Obi from, it's a possible.
By the way, El-Rufai is still a bona fide member of the APC.
Of the APC.
He has not jumped ship.
He has not jumped ship.
And he says he will not.
Yeah, and he says he will not. So let's hold him for his words. Also bearing in mind that politicians have said that in the past. But at the end of the day, because the same El-Rufai was...
Of course, you remember that the same Peter Obi said
he will
not leave PDP.
PDP. And he crossed over to another party. So, but I think if there is election today, at the risk of being accused of partisanship, I think PDP...
And also, both El-Rufai and Obi have nothing to do with the PDP as we speak.
Yes, nothing.
But so they are also not too far, because they all pass through that political party.
Okay.
Yes.
You are saying what Dotun.
Yes. So I think the alignment of forces, is not impossible between Labour Party, a faction of Labour Party, and the PDP. So we are watching. It's going to be an interesting game. But I think as we speak today, APC is negotiating from position of strength. But that strength is not given. It can still be questioned and challenged by other emerging dynamics.
Of course, I'm reminded in this connection, Dotun, of what the so-called first Antichrist said, Napoleon Bonaparte. He said, in politics, if your enemy is making a mistake, do not interrupt him.
It's good. So, but in this case now, when you look at what is playing out in the society, the movement is not just about the parties now. It is also about playing on the demands of the people. There are certain people that Nigerians are listening to. We can't wave away the social media. You can't. And when those people make some moves, the ripples will be felt everywhere. Those two people whose names were mentioned, for Peter Obi, in the last 3-4 years, it's been up there. El-Rufai is now in the reckoning and has been in the last 2 months. So when the two come together, I mean, not even physically now, when the names of those two, when they come together, you can imagine the level of...
As they say, when men and mountains meet, great things are done.
It's not as if I can see them maybe defeating the incumbents. But I mean, they are creating the waves now. And if it becomes the reality and somebody like Atiku Abubakar decides not to contest, then there can be something. You can begin to look at a party that can say, yes, we can put up a good challenge in 2027.
And you do not see anything wrong with the fact that as a new kid on the block, the Labour Party is having teething problems. Too early?
Yeah. The Labour Party is having lingering problem. It's been on. The same thing with the PDP. It's also having a lot of internal contradictions. So if Peter Obi will eventually leave Labour Party, he's definitely not going to live with the whole. Definitely. He's going to live with a faction of the Labour Party. And I think that is a contradiction inside.
And are you sure of his destination?
It's uncertain. But I think I don't see him.
He keeps them guessing.
Yes, I don't think...
Keeps you guessing.
Yes, I don't think I see him continue with a fractured vehicle on the highway.
Actually, for Labour Party, what Labour Party is doing despite being factionalized is that the two factions are promoting Peter Obi. But when they come down
to the brass tacks,
they begin to go in different directions. But for them at the presidency, they are all saying Peter Obi.
Yeah.
So, but
then Otto von Bismarck was right when he said politics is not an exact science.
It's not. It's not.
But
that's why people must be careful.
It's a behavioral one.
The faction that people thought supported APC in the last election was the first to announce Peter Obi as his presidential candidate for 2027. That faction.
All right.
The Papa faction.
A voice from Jos Plateau State wants to join.
All right.
Welcome, Baga. How are you? We lost the contact to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
you were saying.
if they are saying that, and like I said, some people are going to move with him. And don't forget these days, what people do. We saw it in the last election. I can be in APC and decide, for this election, I'm going to vote the PDP candidate. For this one, I'm going to... It happened in the last election. And we are going to see a lot of that in 2027. That is why some personalities are no longer scared of moving into a party that is not so popular again, because they can use it as a vehicle to achieve their aim. And it's going to happen in 2027. I believe that the PDP governors are just... some of them have been discussing it because they are particular about taking over at the federal level. Yeah. And they don't mind being sober in 2027. Nobody is bragging again. Nobody is. Because even APC, the way it is now, is not so sure of anything in 2027. It's not so sure.
I'll go back to what I told you Dwight Eisenhower said, 34th U.S. President. Politics ought to be the part-time profession of every... So, but here it is full-time.
It's a full-time. You know, that is where people...
and you get the impression that if you remove a professional politician from the equation, all is not well.
Oh, yeah, because people are not going to politics because they want to serve you and me. They are going there as they see it as a profit venture. And that is why they can afford to invest in giving money to voters. So at the end of the day, they are also looking at reaping dividends when they win that election.
Yeah.
So, and that's why you say...
it's a zero-sum game.
Yeah, that's why you see a lot of lack of organizational discipline. Because if you are in APC or PDP and it's your party, the first thing is that the party has to determine and, it choose a pathway for your future.
Based on rules set by
and
it.
Collective decisions set by that party.
Yeah.
But people don't have respect for their party. That's why you can be talking of 2027 when you are still within a particular party. That has structure, that's leadership.
Okay, but let me run away with the statement credited to the governor of Bauchi. It is the party that would determine who flies the flag.
Yes, right.
And all the PDP governors...
We all know that ultimately that is not the truth.
I don't know. Me, I'm not...
There's a difference between appearances and reality. That is appearance, but the reality...
When they come with all these
I don't know what you know, and I can't see what you are saying. All right, folks, let's go to our last but not least story for today. There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. It is known as a trauma. That scenario I just painted. Now, the president of the Senate and number 3 man, Godswill Akpabio, is walking that path now. Recall that the Senate president had come under heavy criticism after the alleged sexual harassment saga broke. Akpabio raised concerns that he was merely Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's latest victim, since previous allegations by her turned out to be false. Meanwhile, we can tell you that opposition senators have been visiting the suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan.
Well, what has been happening these past few weeks is an embarrassment to the country, because one thing we must get clear is this. I think in our society, women are generally seen as underdogs. Either even in so-called societies where they're not conservative societies. How many senators do we have in the women senator? think just about four.
I mean, and remember, you get the impression we have come a long way since Second Republic.
Oh, yes.
But to Second Republic, only one female senator. You remember her now?
We had more.
Franca Afegwa.
Yeah. How many women are state governors as we speak today? None. You see? So it's just...
How many women are even councillors?
So are they a long way from home?
So it shouldn't be a long way compared with what is going on in Rwanda.
Yeah.
That is even here. You know, so you have a situation where...
Okay, have you heard a cynic who said that can take place in Rwanda because there are more women? I don't know if that...
So, you know, you have a situation where you have an animal kingdom with lions and then a lot of goats and sheep. Any sheep...
And then you are discussing what to have for dinner.
You know, and you are discussing what to have for dinner. Any sheep that tries to even defend its mates will be seen as a traitor because they will say that, look, we are trying to provoke the lion to devour all of us at the time. So that is what is going on. So I really sympathize with the Nigerian women on that note. However, the issue of sexual harassment that has been raised, maybe the Senate president is right, maybe it's wrong, maybe Natasha is correct, Nigerians are at a loss.
Maybe she is not.
Maybe she's not. We have been denied of the truth of this matter. Because there has not been an independent investigation, because Nigerians are anxious to know what actually happened. What is the real situation? Who is actually guilty? Was it a wrong accusation or not? That suspension for 6 months has robbed Nigerians the prospect of getting to the truth of this matter. And I think what is likely to happen is that...
So I don't let that slip by.
Yeah.
I've heard the counter motion which says, going by the rules, you cannot suspend an elected senator for more than 14 days. Have you heard that too?
Yeah.
Are you asleep? You can't sleep on this.
I was told. No, it's not about sleeping on it.
Okay.
Sometimes we also need to go back and see what people have been doing in the past. People have been suspended for that long.
For that long?
Yeah. You have only been recalled. So what we do a lot of times is that we allow emotions to becloud our judgment. I read an article this morning, and it's on that note I'm also going to advise the Senate President that a lot of people see his outlook as somebody who needs to get a firmer grip of himself and close doors for things that are considered flimsy and people that do not add value to him. He wants to be a man of the people.
Yeah.
He wants to carry everybody along. He's one that we Yorubas will call Omojaye Jaye. He likes socializing, the good time and all that.
Sorry, quickly, there's an Ade in Lagos here who wants to lend the weight of his voice to this thing. Ade, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's go. Go on.
Okay. All right. Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Okay. I just want to make a quick contribution concerning this Senator Natasha case. Well, I think the matter has to be situated correctly. The suspension, the way I see it, was based on the rules of the Senate. Nobody is talking about sexual harassment yet. The senator flouted the rules of the Senate.
Yeah, are you there?
There is no doubt that, even the Senate said it yesterday, that she was not suspended because of this sexual harassment thing. She wasn't. It was a matter of not adhering to the Senate rule. And
not
I was
playing by the
saying,
rules.
That article I read this morning showed me that it needs to close the gap and be seen as somebody who is firmer and more serious in his outlook. Because there was a comparison of this person with a David Mark. We saw how David Mark, despite having a military background, how he ran the Senate. And one of the things he does when there are issues, as you are speaking as a senator, is telling you, Senator, can you read to me what rule so and so says? So even when you, as the senator, will finish reading that rule, you can't even say anything again. You're already sitting down. Because he has defeated you with his clear understanding
in a superior logic
of what the rules are. And we need that kind of firm control of that assembly so that things won't degenerate. A lot of Nigerians are even no longer paying attention
to them,
to our lawmakers. It's so unfortunate.
And again, many Nigerians need to remember that around the world, a National Assembly is the engine room of democracy.
Even the Senate, more so the Senate.
The Senate.
We've seen women in that Senate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've seen the former deputy governor of Ekiti State, Olujimi.
Yeah.
We've seen Anitagiwa. They have passed through that place. We've seen a lot of reps, the way they carried themselves.
And by the way, do you know there are 13 members of the House of Reps who are female?
Yeah. And then somebody now comes into the Senate and wants to, well, I don't want to go into that sexual harassment thing. They should go to court and sort that out. The moment she has evidence, at least this, they must have maybe exchanged things that are written down. Because if you don't have anything on paper to show the court, and you are just saying by word of mouth, then there will be a problem. Not even with what Reno or Mockery revealed of recent.
Yeah.
You accuse him of sexually harassing you while the guy was in the U.S.
Well, the Senate president said 3 other accusations like that by the embattled Senator Natasha Duan were proven to be wrong.
Yes, and unfortunately, when you go to court to go and fight for, he defamed me, he did this, he did that, you only need one person who will come and give evidence that this is a character flaw in this person. And that ends it.
In law, Wale knows this. The burden is on the accuser.
Yes, to prove. It's not.
Prove.
And also to add on this issue that opposition people are visiting.
Going to see her.
Yeah.
It's not out of whether they are really concerned about the issue. It's like vultures, in the folklore. They see that the cow is ill.
Yeah.
They now went to cow and say, we understand you have come to pay UVC to buy it. They are waiting for that cow to die so that they can feast on it. So those opposition figures, they are just waiting to see whether she will decamp. It's not as if they're actually there. That's what I suspect. So, but I think that as we move forward in this country, we need to emphasize the need for people of integrity to be in the National Assembly, whether you are women, whether you are men, so that people will have more confidence, in that National Assembly. He has just mentioned the former Senate president, because is that this same National Assembly who has somebody telling a woman that I will impregnate you? Can you imagine that? In the Senate, can you imagine that vulgar for coming out from a senator? So there are moral challenges in the Senate, which I hope that, righteous people in that Senate, they are there. There are good people in that Senate.
After
we come together to deal with this issue.
The chambers are said to be hallowed.
Yeah.
So there must be hallowed people there.
Yeah.
Not just the chamber. If a hallowed chamber is filled with unhallowed people, there's already a problem.
It's only with integrity that people have trust.
I'm wondering if we can draw a parallel with what happens in the United States. The vice president is the number 3 man, apart from being numbered. He is the president of the Senate. So the speaker is much more influential than in Congress. But here we have a number 3 man who, in an extreme case, could become number 1 or number 2, as the case may be.
still see that case as one of Senator Apoti Duagan not being because this is all rough now. I'm trying to find the right language.
Passing any
I'm not passing any
judgment.
Yes, no. But I still see her that she did not use her discretion properly in that altercation.
And discretion, because they say, is the better part of valor.
Yes, because if you had, at the time others were coming to you too, you would have, all of this won't come into the open, and we will not be hearing of, she did it because of this, she did this because of this. All those would have naturally died down. If you have anything against the Senate President, do it on another platform. Not for you to enter into that hallowed chamber and make it unhallowed. Yeah,
Wale, we can go back there because both former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Senate President Saraki, Bukola Saraki, had said an independent inquiry should be set up. You toe that line?
Well, for different reasons. They are saying it for political reasons, to harvest, from to make political scores from that game. Who are they? What is there to be telling us about? Don't we know who they are? Are they not in that same National Assembly? Are they not part of the problem? But I'm not against, getting the truth, for Nigerians to actually know. So that I think that actually would be a plus to the Senate President and also to the suspended senator. Because at the end of the day, Nigerians will be able to be aware of what actually happened. I think they owe us, we the electorates, the obligation to actually do. We're actually the one that has been traumatized. It shouldn't just be the Senate President alone. Yeah, because we don't know what is happening at the National Assembly, who is actually telling the truth. So if there is if in the search for truth, if there will be need for an independent inquiry, why not? But not the one that will be suggested by people who are just politicians who want to just say a case where they can harvest from political gain, not in our own interest.
As we begin to take this home, Dotun, do you see a middle course here somewhere?
I don't see it happening again. Maybe if this issue had not degenerated into this sexual harassment thing, perhaps there will be one. This case is in court already.
Yeah.
She is not the only one that has gone to court. The wife of the Senate President has gone to court. The Senate President is also going to head to court. So it's already a big issue. And
to think that both politicians, Mr. Senate President and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, are lawyers.
Yeah.
So they see what I'm not seeing.
They are always saying what we can see. Politicians.
Okay.
That's who they are. They're always saying what we can see. But I don't see them being able to, that thing won't go away. And the Senate President needs to prove that he has no blame in this. If he doesn't prove that, then we'll always be saying, maybe as a journalist, they call us for a function and they say, it's a family affair. Then I won't take my wife. So the Senate President must pursue it for him to be clear, so that I won't say, Mr. Senate President, I can't be in the same garden where you are with my wife. So he needs to pursue it, and I want him to.
I don't understand you. No. Don't trivialize it.
We are not trivializing it. I mean, that stain is going to stay on him. That's the point I'm making.
Well, he is telling you he's going through a trauma. So
that trauma should not end.
As human beings, we sympathize with him, but we are saying these things could have been avoided.
Yes, it could have been.
Yeah.
But now that it has not been avoided, it has reached this stage, then they should go the whole hog for us to know who is guilty or who is not telling the truth.
All right, we must begin to wind up now, not before thanking the backroom boys who have made it possible for all of us to be watched. And I want to thank Wale Adeoye for your time.
Thank you.
And Dotun Oladipo for your intervention.
Thank you so much.
And just to apologize that we couldn't take Babajide Kolade Otitoju. We had a glitch with the E-line, So Until next time. So that's it on Journalist Hangout for this Sunday. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. You may watch a repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30. We are all on YouTube too, at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.
bá ní nǹkan ó ṣe tí ò bá ṣe kò sí tẹ́lẹ̀ kankan lè fi wá ṣe. bàbá lẹ́gùn bàbá wa ó jó tí ò jó mọ́ kò jó mọ́ náà.
Adéyìnfẹ́. Ṣé ìwọ ló ṣe é?
Ṣé kí ni?
Kógun já àwọn èèyàn mi. Sọ dọ́gbọ́n fún mi ni.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m., where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye, now on TVC News every Sunday by 3:30 p.m.
Hello, my pleasure to come your way today in this special edition of You and Your Health. I remain your friend, Dr. Richard Okoye, the president of Doctors Save a Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization with a clear vision of giving total health to the people of Africa through the power of knowledge. Today is going to be a little bit exceptional because we're going to talk about things that has to do with our women. Don't forget that a woman is the bedrock of any nation. That's why when you are talking about life expectancy of any nation, the indices that are actually being looked upon is the health of the mother and child, basically. All right, so today's edition is going to also refer us to what happened to our women in Europe and America with respect to fibroid. One has sent a message, and that message is so touching. It shares the global experience of our women when it has to do with the subject of fibroid, particularly those out there. Before I read it out here, I want to encourage you to reach out to your friends and your loved ones. Please encourage them to be part of this particular program. Today is going to be quite exceptional. And don't forget that when we are talking about this subject, we are not talking about, oh, I don't have it. We all have sisters, we have friends, we have children that will also pass through one or two things. The more you empower, the more you can save them from the tears, from the frustration, and of course, a lot of, marriage crisis, divorce, separation. It never happened before in Africa because we value family, we value marriage. But unfortunately, the issue of childbearing and all those related to that usually cause a lot of crisis. So let's be able to build today a healthy family, which is the woman as a foundation, and of course, a healthy society. And let's look at this very query or cry, as it were, from one of our ladies based over there in Italy, in Europe. She sent this particular message on WhatsApp, and she said, "Dr. Save a Life, we are happy to see the wonderful work you guys are doing over there in Nigeria. Thank you. Please, I have an issue of fibroid. Last year, November, I did embolization here in Italy, but I'm still bleeding too much. My doctor here says I have to remove my womb, but I have no child yet. What a pity. Please, apart from embolization and hysterectomy, I may have mean hysterectomy, that is removal of the womb, what are other good methods to do fibroid and save my womb? God bless you." Of course, this is quite a very, very elaborate one, and I want you to call your friends. Tell them to tune into this station right now. This is what they need, and please do that. I will be right back as we analyze this.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you are still on You and Your Health. And today we are looking at the core of a woman's life, marital relationship, and life in general, because there is this emotional bonding when it has to do with a woman and the issue of her fertility. And when a woman is being denied of that, particularly in our traditional society, Africa, of course, you know that most of them live almost depressed. And today we're going to look at the question this very lady asks. She is actually based in Europe, Italy precisely, and she said that she had fibroid, and this very fibroid, she went and did what is called embolization, most probably uterine embolization. Some of these things I will explain to you. But she still discovered, maybe she was bleeding excessively because of the fibroid, but she still discovered that she's still bleeding even after the uterine embolization, which she did in November last year, according to her. Now, she went back, and her doctor perhaps give the option that she has to take her womb out, hysterectomy as she's referring, that she has to take her womb out, and taking her womb out, she never had a child, meaning that that chapter is closed. All right? So in that very deep sense of course, emotionally down, he said, is there no other method that could be in position, take out the fibroid, and also preserve her womb? Now, going by her question, I think there are three major things we may answer here. Number one is the prevalence of fibroid. All right? She's in Europe. Most people here also having the issue of fibroid. We're going to look at also different methods, the advantages, their disadvantages, or some of them even may be a deception. We're going to look at them here together. And finally, we look at the solution as she asked. Which one is actually, among all these, should be the best option she should explore? Now, let me first of all show us something. Fibroid is not a spirit. As a matter of fact, anybody that tells you you have fibroid, it was a spiritual problem, and it was this, that person is a deceiver. Fibroid is a gynecological tumor. benign as it were, it's not cancerous. And it is found in the womb of most women. Fibroid is a gynecological tumor right there in the womb and can be taken out. Let's just admit it at that level. And it is very common among the blacks. I've said it here over and over again. Our women, by reason of study, have been found to have high level of estrogen, one of the hormones that also makes our women more fertile than the Caucasians. All right? So that's why it is more resident among blacks. If you get to Germany, I tell you, you may not find one single German lady that have fibroid. If you get to Asia, sometimes 5 cm fibroid, you may not see. All right? So, in that accord, it is something that is dominant among black women. By statistics, 1 out of every 4 ladies you see have fibroid. But that also does not connote they can have children, because we can have the opportunity to look into that. Second one is having established that fibroid is not a spiritual manipulation, fibroid is a gynecological tumor, what are the methods that could be used to take out fibroid? We're going to take you